There are 4 ways millennials try to pay off debt. One of them is mathematically excellent. One of them is psychologically excellent. One of them is a solid middle ground. And one of them, and I can't believe people are still recommending this, is just paying the minimum payment every month and hoping for the best. Today, we are putting all 4 on a tier list: S tier, A tier, B tier, and the tier that I refuse to name without a moment of silence. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly which one fits your situation, because one size does not fit all here, and anyone who tells you otherwise is selling something. My name is Max. This is The Wealthy Millennial. Let's rank some debt strategies. Before we rank anything, let's talk about why debt strategy even matters. Because I think a lot of people treat debt like bad weather. It's there, it's miserable, and there's nothing you can do but wait it out. That is wrong. The average American household carries over $104,000 in total debt. Credit cards are sitting at an average APR of 22.76%. Student loans average 6.5% for federal and up to 16% for private. And the average millennial has between 3 and 5 separate debt accounts active at the same time. With multiple debts at wildly different interest rates, the order you pay them off in is not a small decision. The wrong strategy can cost you thousands of dollars in extra interest and years of extra payments. The right strategy saves both. So let's build the tier list. Strategy number 1, the debt avalanche. Here's how it works. You list all your debts. You make the minimum payment on every single one. Then you take every extra dollar you have and throw it at the debt with the highest interest rate, regardless of the balance size. When that one's gone, you roll everything into the next highest rate, and you keep going until you're debt-free. Example time. Let's say you have 4 debts: a credit card at 22%, a personal loan at 15%, an auto loan at 7%, and a student loan at 6.5%. And you have an extra $300 a month after minimums. Using the avalanche method, you hammer the credit card first, the 22% monster. When that's gone, you take the freed up payment plus the $300 in avalanche into the personal loan, then the auto loan, then the student loan. The result? You pay the least amount of interest mathematically possible, period. Harvard Business Review has studied this. The Federal Reserve has studied this. The math is settled. If you want to minimize the total dollars that go to lenders, the avalanche wins. Every time. The drawback? Patience. If your highest rate debt is also your largest balance, a lot of people lose steam. They fall off. They stop making the extra payments. And a strategy you don't finish is worse than a suboptimal strategy you actually complete. So where does the avalanche land on the tier list? Mathematically, it's S tier. Psychologically, it depends on the person. I'm putting it in A tier, because a strategy you won't finish doesn't deserve the top spot. But if you are disciplined, if you are a numbers person who can delay gratification, this is your method. Do the avalanche. Strategy number 2, the debt snowball. Made famous by Dave Ramsey, beloved by millions of people who have used it to actually get out of debt, and mathematically suboptimal in a way that I will acknowledge, and then explain why it still deserves a high tier ranking. Here's how it works. Same setup, minimum payments on everything. But instead of targeting the highest interest rate, you target the smallest balance. Knock that one out as fast as humanly possible. When it's gone, roll that payment into the next smallest. And so on. The snowball gets bigger with every payoff, and your motivation gets bigger too. Using the same scenario, extra $300 a month, you'd pay off the personal loan first, then the credit card. Each payoff releases more firepower. And here's what matters. Harvard Business Review found that people who use the snowball method are statistically more likely to eliminate all of their debt than people using other strategies. Not because the math is better, because the psychology is. Does the snowball cost you slightly more in interest than the avalanche? Yes. In most scenarios, somewhere between $200 and $800 more. But if the avalanche's delayed gratification causes you to quit in month 9, you've paid infinite more interest because you're still in debt. Snowball is S tier for anyone who has ever started a debt payoff plan and fallen off before finishing. It is A tier for everyone else. I'm giving it S tier today because the best plan is the one you actually complete. Strategy number 3, debt consolidation. This one gets a different treatment because it's not a payoff order, it's a restructuring move. The idea is simple. You take multiple high-interest debts and combine them into one lower-interest loan or balance transfer credit card. One payment, lower rate, cleaner math. When does consolidation work? When you can get a meaningfully lower interest rate than what you're currently paying. Balance transfer cards sometimes offer 0% APR for 12 to 18 months. If you can pay off the balance in that window, it's a legitimate power move. Personal consolidation loans at 10 to 12% can make sense if you're averaging 18 to 20% across your current debts. The math has to work. When does consolidation backfire? When people treat it as debt elimination instead of debt restructuring. I've watched people consolidate $30,000 of credit card debt, feel a wave of relief, and then slowly rebuild those same card balances over the next 2 years. Now they have the consolidation loan and the card debt. Congratulations, you've doubled the problem. Consolidation is a tool, not a strategy. Use it to lower your rate and simplify your payments. Then apply snowball or avalanche on top of it. Used correctly, A tier. Used as an excuse to not change behavior, F tier. I'm putting it in B tier because in practice, most people use it somewhat correctly. But watch yourself. And now, strategy number 4. If you have a $5,000 credit card balance at 22% interest and you only make the minimum payment every month, do you know how long it takes to pay it off? 17 years. And you will pay approximately $8,500 in interest on a $5,000 debt. You will pay 1.7 times the original debt just in interest for 17 years. The credit card company is not your friend. The minimum payment is designed by an army of PhDs to be just large enough that you feel like you're doing something, while being just small enough to keep you in debt as long as mathematically possible. That is the product. That is the feature, not the bug. Minimum payments go straight into F tier. I'm not sorry. If you are only making minimum payments right now, not because of genuine financial hardship, but because you haven't thought about it, today is the day we fix that. Send even $20 extra a month, and you cut years off that timeline. Do it today. So we've ranked the strategies. Now let me help you pick yours, because the tier list is the framework, but your situation is the deciding factor. Question 1. Have you ever started a debt payoff plan and quit before finishing? Be honest. If yes, use the snowball. A strategy you quit costs infinitely more than a strategy you complete. The snowball's early wins are not a gimmick. They are the psychological fuel that keeps the engine running for the 2, 3, or 4 years it takes to get out. Question 2. Are your interest rates dramatically different? Like, do you have a credit card at 24% sitting next to a student loan at 4%? If yes, use the avalanche. The rate gap is too large to ignore. You're leaving real money on the table. Question 3. Do you have multiple debts and a decent credit score? Consider a consolidation play first. Lower the rate, then apply snowball or avalanche on the remaining debt. That's the power combo. Whatever method you choose, these 3 moves turbocharge the timeline, and most people don't do any of them. Move 1. Bi-weekly payments. Instead of paying your debt once a month, pay half the amount every 2 weeks. You end up making 26 half payments, which equals 13 full payments instead of 12. That 1 extra payment per year cuts 6 to 8 months off a $10,000 debt at 20% interest and saves hundreds in interest charges. Move 2. Every windfall goes to debt. Tax refund? Debt. Work bonus? Debt. Birthday money? Debt. Before you spend any unexpected income, make a rule. 50% goes to debt. Every single time. This is how people pay off debt years early without changing their monthly budget at all. Move 3. Call your credit card company and ask for a lower rate. Over 60% of people who call and ask for a lower APR receive one. You have probably never called. Call today. A 5 percentage point reduction on a $10,000 balance saves $500 a year in interest for 1 phone call. Here's what I want you to do right now. Pick your method. Not someday. Right now. If you've quit before, snowball. If your rates are far apart, avalanche. If you can get a lower rate, consolidate first, then attack. And if you're only making minimum payments, today is the day that changes. Write down every debt you have. The balance, the interest rate, the minimum payment. That's your starting point. Then pick a strategy from this tier list and commit to it for 90 days. Just 90 days. See what happens. I promise you the momentum will carry you through. Drop your method in the comments, snowball, avalanche, or consolidation. I want to see which one this audience goes with. And if you enjoyed this tier list format, let me know, because there's more where this came from. Next week, we're covering the one money mistake that's quietly costing millennials $200,000 in lifetime wealth. Subscribe so you don't miss it. I'll see you then. And please, don't be like Kevin.